deadly mass shooting at the University of Virginia. Students and staff ordered to shelter in place.
Horror at the University of Virginia after a suspected student gunman opened fire, killing 3 members of the football team.
They were great men, great young athletes. I was just figuring it out. Just gotta stay together and uplift each other.
Another day, another mass shooting in the United States of America.
We thought he was going to shoot everyone in the bus. At that point, he was like, you guys are always messing with me. He said something weird like that. But it was very bizarre because they didn't talk to him the whole trip.
Devin Chandler, Lavel Davis Jr, and Deshaun Perry, 3 collegiate football players on the UVA roster, lost their lives in the shooting. Students on campus paid their respects in Charlottesville to an American problem that the country simply does not resolve. When gun rights activists advocate for freedom, is this what they mean? Nearly 2 years ago to the date, we reported on the tragic deaths of 3 University of Virginia football players.
Feels like it's a nightmare, to be honest with you, and I'm ready for somebody to pinch me and wake me up and say that this didn't happen.
Head football coach Tony Elliott was in a state of shock following the tragedy, echoing the same feelings felt across campus and in the local community.
The UVA football team expressed its heartbreak in a tweet saying, quote, "There are no words to describe this tremendous loss to our UVA football family." Their coach calling them incredible young men with huge aspirations and extremely bright futures.
The 3 dead students were all football stars. Wide receiver Devin Chandler, 6'7" Lavel Davis had a shot at playing in the NFL. Linebacker Deshaun Perry from Miami is number 41, another football player. Running back Mike Hollins was wounded. The accused shooter is also a former member of the football team. He was recruited in his freshman year but never played.
Police have identified the suspect as University of Virginia student Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. The 22-year-old was a freshman on the UVA football team in 2018 but did not play in any games. Police said Jones was arrested about 75 miles outside the Charlottesville campus.
The alleged shooter's father would speak to the media following his son's arrest, and that followed an hours-long manhunt, making this alarming admission. He had some problems the last time I talked to him. He said some people were picking on him or whatever. He didn't know how to handle it, and I told him, just go to school. Don't pay it any mind, the father said. He was really paranoid when I talked to him about something, but he wouldn't tell me everything. He was a very sensitive young man. Jones was convicted in 2021 of a misdemeanor concealed weapons violation and received a 12-month suspended sentence and a small fine, UVA spokesperson Brian Coy's statement said. Jones didn't report the case to university officials as required, per UVA Police Chief Tim Longo. Jones was also reportedly involved in a hazing investigation that was eventually dropped after witnesses reportedly would not cooperate with the police's investigation.
Now, Jones faces charges of second-degree murder, weapons charges, malicious shooting, and wounding charges. As we have said, 3 football players were shot dead and 2 other students were injured. One of those injured was a football player. I want to mention that the suspect, Christopher Darnell Jones, who was seen over video conference, didn't show any emotion as we heard these new details. One claim by a witness said that Jones began shooting, and it seemed like it was intentionally aimed. And one detail claimed from a witness that one of the football players, Devin Chandler, was shot on the bus while he was asleep.
I knew we had to, get off that bus because it could get a lot worse. Me and another teammate were the only 2 to get off the bus. Mm-hmm. And I turned back and I look over my shoulder and I realized, we're the only 2 running. I didn't really think much in that moment. It was just literally an instinct and a reaction to go back.
You say you were 3 or 4 steps on the bus.
Yeah.
You see him coming off the bus.
Yeah, and it was, he was just so close, and I felt so hopeless and so powerless in that moment.
Did he say anything?
Nothing at all. He just, we locked eyes, and that was it.
Michael Hollins Jr., the 4th football player who was shot but thankfully survived his injuries, shared his experience with Michael Strahan on Good Morning America just a month after the shooting took place.
I felt him hit me in my back, but I knew I wasn't going down without a fight, and I found a pre-med student, and that was God again. She was there to help me. She kept me calm, kept my breathing under control, was checking my pulse, and until the ambulance came.
And if you could say something to the shooter, what would you say to him?
I just would love to ask if he knew the magnitude of his actions in the moment. Like, if he ever thought how many people will be affected for the rest of their lives.
As previously mentioned, we are now a full 2 years removed from this tragedy, and despite authorities still not releasing a motive for Jones Jr.'s actions, we do have an update to share. Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. has just pled guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated malicious wounding, and 5 counts of the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. He now faces 5 life terms with an additional 23 years in prison. He is scheduled to be sentenced in early February 2025. In a statement to ESPN, the family of Deshaun Perry said, "We sat eye to eye with the defendant as he pled guilty to all charges, calling on the public to join them and the other surviving families at Jones Jr.'s sentencing trial a few months from now." University of Virginia President Jim Ryan would also release a statement saying, quote, "Today's proceedings represent another step in the lengthy and painful journey for the families of the victims and for our community. We continue to grieve the loss of 3 beloved members of our community and the injuries suffered by others on the bus. We will keep you all updated as the story continues to develop, as we await the university's release of their independent investigation into the shooting and Jones Jr.'s background for a possible motive." If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports, and or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.